Morning everyone, I hope you're well. This is CoinsKid. As you can see, we have had a bit of correction. Nothing to get too alarmed about. We are finding some levels of support on the hourly time frame. But if we was to zoom in on the hourly time frame here, guys, this is Bitcoin. We're diving into Bitcoin on the hourly time frame here. We have formed a couple of bear flags there in continuation. As you can see, we broke down just there. So again, this is the hourly time frame, guys, and as you can see, we have fell under these EMAs. So that's one thing to take into consideration at the minute, that we are being suppressed by the 20 EMA. We did create a bear cross there. Obviously, that was that bullish cross there, and as you can see, the power it gives the move. You know, in that move there, that particular bull cross, we went up roughly. Let's bring that down for you guys. So in that particular move, when we formed that bullish cross there on the hourly time frame, when the 20 EMA crosses to 55 EMA in a positive way, we went up 14%. So you could say, okay, we're looking at a 14% correction as a reversal on that bearish cross that we formed there. So just as a guide, guys, you could basically say, okay, we're looking at a 14% correction. At the minute, we're down about 6%. Sorry, there we're about 5%. So we could potentially, if we was to paint the same sort of trajectory move as the bullish cross, you could potentially be looking at a 42k Bitcoin down there, guys, which would bring us down to this bottom there, and that bottom is the Fibonacci retracement of the swing low to the swing high, of the previous low to the previous high, the all-time high. That is that target there. So we could potentially still get down to there, which would be on a larger time scale. I think it's on the daily time scale. It would be a Fibonacci 0618 retest. But there's some other things that I'm targeting as well in this downtrend that we find ourselves in now. You can see we have formed a couple of bear flags. One's there like that, one's there like that. I did put this information in our group, in our Telegram group, guys. So if you'd like to jump into the Telegram group, the link is below the video. We've got some great stuff in there. A lot of content's going in there at the moment, and some really good ideas. One chap put today that a post, I'll just bring that up in a minute. His name's Danny Kasumo. I've not seen that post before. I'll bring it up for you now, guys. This guy's put it in here, and you can see that March is historically a bad month for Bitcoin. I think I may have covered it before, I'm not sure, but I've never seen this particular chart, and looking at this just sort of clarifies, wow, yeah, we are kind of geared up for a bit of a bad month. Even in the bull markets here, I think that was a bull market 2016-17, you see we had a correction there. So we are looking at a bad month projectively on the cards, and as you can see after that, it looks good. So hold tight, guys. So potentially we could come down to test those. Potentially we could be coming down to test those levels, but again, I'll get back to this chart on the hourly time frame here. You can see we're painting these bear flags, okay, and we look like we're forming another one. We're just dumping out of this one. So the way you can measure that is obviously from there down to there. That's one bear flag, and you can see when we broke out, we went. You see how perfectly that is, guys. It goes down, and usually a bear flag is it looks a little bit like this, where it goes down and then the price tries to come back up sideways like this, diagonally, sorry, and then it breaks down. It does the same again, and then it breaks down again. So if this is another bear flag in this continuation of a downtrend, then you could be looking at another dump like that down to this level here. So it's just a staggered continuational dump, guys. So we may be looking at a short time on the hourly time frame. We may be looking at another dump down to 45,258 today for Bitcoin. But I just want to show you something else that someone else put in the group, and this is the beauty of that group, guys, on Telegram. You know, you do see things all the time, and someone's put in a pattern that looks quite good, actually. I do like the look of this pattern, and potentially that's what we could be forming right now. I'll just bring it up for you guys. It's this Hinburst head and shoulders. I'll try and chart it in a moment, but I'll just show you the basicness of it now. So it's 4-hour time frame, guys, and basically that's the left shoulder, the head, the right shoulder, and at the minute you can see that we're coming down. So yeah, I'll just show you this on the 4-hourly time frame now, guys. So as you can see on the 4-hour, we're painting a bearish cross again. You know, when that happens, we do see a bit of a correction. For example, from that bearish cross there, we've seen that correction all the way down before we came back up. But aside from that, we may be forming something that looks like a inverse head and shoulders. So we'll take a look at that now. So yeah, so we may be forming, if we get rejected here, because what happens is, so you can see that's a bit of a left shoulder, sorry. This is your head, okay, and that potentially, if we see a bounce here upwards, that could potentially form the right shoulder. And I'll show you where the neckline is. The neckline is roughly here, like that, okay. So that's an inverse head and shoulder, basically where the price comes down into it. It comes down, it comes back to the neckline, gets rejected, forms a head, and then comes back and then forms the right shoulder. All it is a weakness in any direction. If we was buying, that would be a weakness in the bulls. If it was selling, obviously it's a weakness in the bears. And if we can get a bounce back here and then come back up and break this neckline, then I'll show you the potential upside target for Bitcoin right now, if this was to form an inverse head and shoulders, guys. So you go from the center there down to the neckline like that. So if we was to come up there and break that neckline, guys, with volume, then you could be looking at a target up there, like a new all-time high for Bitcoin at 60k. So that's also a play that is potentially on the cards with this inverse head and shoulders pattern that's possibly being formed on the 4-hour time frame. So they're just some levels to think about. Again, we could just see, you know, given the previous bearish cross on the hourly time frame, we did dump 14%, which would bring us down to this level again. That would look like it is the right shoulder. That could possibly be the right shoulder down there, providing we don't lose this level here, which is 42. I'll mark that for you guys. So that is 42 just there. If we lose just there, if we lose that level, okay, if the price action comes down and it loses that 42.917, then this head and shoulders pattern, this inverse head and shoulders pattern on the 4-hourly time frame is invalidated, okay, because the right shoulder is bigger than the neckline. So again, you could have the right shoulders coming right up to the neckline, but to the top of the head, but if it breaks it, then statistically that's invalidated. What we're looking for is a bounce, and the potential bounce off this 45.206 looks feasible. It looks like it could be the right shoulder, guys. So we could potentially carry out that 14% correction from this bearish cross, as we did on the bullish cross inversed. So we come down, bounce off this 45.206, go back up, break this neckline, and then off up to a new all-time high of 60k for Bitcoin. So they're just some things to keep an eye on as well, and there is an even bigger trend than that, guys. I'm going to show that to you now. Again, draw trend lines where you can, and there is a particular trend line that I have noticed on Bitcoin. So something else to keep an eye on, guys, is this trend here. Obviously we're in an uptrend, okay, you know that, you're fully aware that we're in an uptrend. So we are forming a bit of a trend line just there. You see that? So let's zoom out on that line there. So this is acting as a support line on the way up. Do you see that? So obviously we've bounced off it there. We've gone up. We've got a little bit extended from this support line. We've come back down. We've tested the support line. So that is an area right there where we could potentially see the dump down to, and possibly today as well, down to this 42 level. Let's zoom out there. So that is where we could potentially see the price action come down to this support line as a test of support in this trend that we find ourselves in, this uptrend. Come down to that, roughly create that right shoulder, guys, bounce off, break that neckline of the inverse head and shoulders, get through it with power, and then continue in this uptrend. So that's just something to keep an eye on, guys. That's a summary of what may be going on in Bitcoin. So again, key level to keep an eye on, guys, is this potential further dump down to the 45.167 area some point. Test this support line coming up. So just to clarify again, that's the left shoulder, that's the head, and that's the right shoulder that's being formed, and potentially we could see it come down, test this support line, bounce back up like that, create the right shoulder as a retest there, and then break the neckline and get through, and then obviously our target is up there at 60k. So that's Bitcoin, guys. I'm going to jump into the Ethereum chart right now for you. So yeah, just jumping into the Ethereum chart, guys, here on the hourly time frame, you can see that we have formed a couple of bear flags there, one after the other, and we may potentially be forming another one right now. So obviously that's a bear flag there, guys, as you can see. So yeah, you can measure the perfect distance of the breakout, the flagpole, from that breakout down to there, that flagpole. So we could potentially, I know it looks like it's breaking out a little bit now and coming back, but we could still potentially see a breakdown. It could push up to the top of this trend there and then break down again, guys. I'm just saying it could potentially do this. So if we was to break down even further for Ethereum, we could be looking at a breakdown from that point there down to that level there, which takes us down to roughly $1,411. So we could see a breakdown to there again, guys. Failing that, if we was to lose this support, this area now, we just completely correct, which is not off the cards, we could see a major correction, then I would be targeting this level down here as major support, the bottom of the body of this candle, not necessarily the wick. This body of this candle I would be targeting as major support for Ethereum at 1318. So we'll mark that for you guys. Just keep an eye on, if we was to correct more, I would say that that is the absolute bottom. We can't afford to fall any lower than that. We can't afford to fall any lower than that for Ethereum, because that would put us in a bear market for sure. Definitely, I think we'd be well below the 55 EMA on the daily time frame for Ethereum. So that's just potential breakdown today of what may happen to Ethereum. Hopefully we could bounce here, given the fact that Bitcoin's looking like it's forming that inverse head and shoulders, guys. So that is a potential play that we could bounce here. You'll see that on the daily time frame there, we are bouncing off that 55 EMA there as support, guys. You know, we do need to close the candle above that. We did wick down there on this daily close here, you can see, and then we came back up. So it is a potential play that we could dump down even further. It's not off the cards, guys, but given the fact that Bitcoin may bounce where it is, we could be looking at more upside to Ethereum. So it's just something to keep an eye on, providing we don't lose this completely and lose this level of support here, guys, at the 1317, because you can see we've got so much resistance coming up. We've only tested it once for support, so we could lose that and then fall. You can see how quick we came up. You could fall equally as quickly down to them levels there, like $700 and stuff like that. So we won't go too deep into that at the moment, but yeah, we do need to hold this support here at 1317 if we was to correct any more, guys. But I am anticipating a nice bounce here, possibly off this level here after another bear flag down to 1410 area, 1411 area, guys. So okay, that's Ethereum. Just moving on to Chainlink now. So just looking at Chainlink, I know it's crashed quite a lot, but you can see how far away we are from the EMA, especially the 55 EMA. Again, looking at Ethereum, we are like bouncing literally off that 55 EMA. You can see that this 55 EMA acts beautifully as support. The body of the candle, not necessarily the wick, guys. Look at the body of the candle where it's bouncing off. So that's where it's closing above this 55 EMA. So that's beautiful. That this 55 EMA is a really good guide. So if we was to drop any further, this is a daily time frame, guys. If we was to drop any further, then let me knock that out for you guys. If we was to drop any further, then I would anticipate a nice bounce off this 55 EMA today or tomorrow, depending on how long the correction goes on for, guys. So I'll mark that for you now. We potentially could be looking at a $25.25 Chainlink token at some point today, if not tomorrow, if the correction continues. Again, it's all on Bitcoin, whether or not it forms that inverse head and shoulders and takes off, goes up to that neckline. Because if it was to bounce from where it is now and go up to that neckline, then obviously everything else goes with it. So that's just a major support level to keep an eye on for Chainlink, guys, going forward, that we may see it correct down to that level there on the 55 EMA. Look how nicely it acts as support. So that's where you could be setting your buy orders in at that level, guys, on Chainlink down there at 25.25. So that's just something on the daily time frame. If we switch to the hourly time frame now for Chainlink. So yeah, that's roughly our daily support on the daily time frame today, guys. But you can see we have formed a bear flag there, so potentially we could fall underneath it. See the wick down. A potential play for Chainlink is that we could see another bear flag form, guys, like this, like it has done there and there, there. Look, see that? And then we have another breakdown out of here. We wick down below this 55 EMA today, but it gets brought back up and we close above right on the 55 EMA, which is this line here. So potentially we could be looking at a close on the hourly time frame of 25.25 roughly, isn't it, around that sort of area there of 25.25, guys. So again, we have formed a bearish cross there, and you can see the momentum it does give the market when we do form these crosses. A bullish cross there, pushed up, bearish cross, pushed down. We are forming what looks to be bear flags. That would be the second one formed, so we may see a bigger drop down there, but I would expect that we wick back up above this support level on the 55 EMA for a Chainlink if we was to correct any more, guys. So that's just something to keep an eye on. Jump into the 1-inch chart right now, Reef chart for you right now, guys. So in the Reef chart right here yesterday, guys, this is why you've got to get in the Telegram group there, because we were in there and we noticed that there was a symmetrical triangle being formed on the hourly time frame, which was inside our Fibonacci retracement as well. We was targeting the move up to this level of the fib. Do you remember the impulsive move to corrective wave, and then the impulsive wave was a target up here at this level? But we was noticing it was ranging in here, it was getting tighter inside this horizontal symmetrical triangle, so a breakout was imminent, and the volume was depleting off, as you can see down there. Look at the volume that stepped in on the hourly time frame, and it gave us one massive big green candle. And this is what you see, guys, in these breakouts. You see these big pushes from these patterns here. So basically, to get that target, we just went from the top of the triangle there down to the bottom roughly there, and it gives you a breakout position roughly like that, guys. So look, looks perfect. Look at that. So we seen a massive green candle just push right up to that level there, and obviously it got rejected at the top there, which was the top of our impulsive wave anyway on the fib. We came back down to test the previous low of the fib, like we said, and you can see now that Reef is acting really nicely. It's bouncing off this 55 EMA on the hourly time frame. It's probably the only crypto that's doing it at the moment that we're targeting. So yeah, it's acting really nice, guys. So failing that, we could lose this 55 EMA and break down some more, and I would be looking at these levels here, these previous highs, as targets for support. So we've got one there, and we've got this here that you can see is acting as support right now. So failing that, we could see a test down to this level here as of support, that particular level there, which is just there, guys, at 0.34. So yeah, I mean, if Bitcoin was to correct further and all the other cryptos go with it, we could see a potential breakdown to that level on 0.034 for Reef, and that would coincide actually with that correction on Chainlink as well. So we may be looking at a further 6% correction for Reef, but it is holding up really well at the moment. It is bouncing off this 55 EMA as you can see, really strong support there. So that's a really bullish sign for Reef. Given that, if we was to see a pump, where potentially could we see a pump? So we'll bring out the fib levels again on Reef. So we said from that move there up to there was our impulsive move down today. You see that on the 0.618, guys? So we had that impulsive wave, corrective wave down there, and what we did, we moved this for our target off the impulsive wave there. You see that, the corrective wave there, and we were targeting another impulsive wave up like that to that level, and then down to this 0.618. But as you can see, we've actually fell further because we pushed up really high anyway. So it was a great push up by Reef. So what we do, we moved that up to the top of where it actually went to. So then all of a sudden you can see that we're bouncing off this 0.786, and it's acting as really strong support. So the trend is still actually intact on Reef, providing we don't lose this 0.78. I mean, look how much. This is what I said to you about moves and breakouts and trends, guys. What you'll see when you use the fib levels, the stronger a trend, it usually retraces back to the 0.38. Yeah, so you'll see in the first impulsive move, it usually corrects. In a really strong uptrend, it would correct to the 0.38. Then the trend will start and get a little bit weaker. It will come back and fall on the 0.5, then the 0.6, and then it will start and drop down to the 0.68, 0.78. And that's when you know that the trend is it's a little bit exhausted. So you're looking at a level of consolidation in a longer time frame. So that's potentially what we're looking at now. Providing we don't lose this 0.786, you can see that Reef is acting really strong. It's bouncing off this 55 EMA here, guys, off it on the daily time frame, on the hourly time frame. It's bouncing off it beautifully, which is lining up with this 0.786. So providing that we can behave and keep this level, then the trend realistically is still intact. We'll form a level of consolidation on Reef, and then we'll be looking to target more upside once Bitcoin sorts itself out and corrects. But failing that, if we was to lose this target, then I would be looking at this level here, the previous high in that impulsive move, as a level of support, and then again failing that you look at the other previous high there, guys, then failing that and you look at the other previous high, and that's how it works. Just support, support, support all the way down, and support, support all the way up, guys. So I hope you understand that. But okay, so let's target another impulsive move for Reef now, guys, because Reef is acting really strong. It is showing really good strength. The fact that it's not lost that 0.786 on this uptrend is really strong as well, given that everything's correcting. So we'll move this now off the bottom of that there. So we'll take that now, which would form the bottom of this trend. So if we was to now see an impulsive move upwards, you would potentially see a push from that point. Again, providing Bitcoin can behave and form that right shoulder that we're targeting, you would see an impulsive move all the way up to 0.44 for Reef. So I would be looking to short at that level there, guys. So yeah, if you jump in the group, we do real-time updates in there and we're all chatting away. So jump into that Telegram group, guys. It's the description's below the video. I'm going to jump into 1Inch quite quickly. I've got to be quick because this video is really long. So on 1Inch, you could see we were targeting this level here, and we did say that I know that like Bitcoin collapsed and corrected, and it just validates this entire move. But we was targeting a breakdown, guys, because when you come from the top into these symmetrical triangles, it is a continuation pattern 9 times out of 10. I did say that if you come from the bottom, you know, continuation pattern on the way up. So that's something definitely targeting, and that's what we targeted yesterday on the Reef breakout, guys. And you can see how violent the breakouts can be. So we're still targeting this bottom down here for 1Inch at 195, because that would be that distance there to the top of the symmetrical triangle. So that is still potentially on the cards, and as you can see, we are falling here on 1Inch. We're forming multiple bear flags there, guys. So yeah, in the group yesterday, I did a quick update where I said we looked like we're forming a bit of a bear flag. We broke out of that there and we're consolidating back up, and that looked like a bear flag, and I gave a breakdown target of $3.81. Well, it did break down, and then we formed another bear flag, and then we broke down again, and it looks like we're forming another bear flag, and then we potentially break down again. So we are pushing down towards that level there, guys. That can't be ignored. You know, we are pushing down at the moment. We're really far under this EMA as well, and we formed a bearish cross there on a daily time frame with EMAs. So it's not looking too great for 1Inch at the moment. We are in a bit of a downtrend, and we may come down and catch this bottom, guys, before we correct and break these levels here again. So you may see a form level of like just moving down, consolidation, moving down, consolidation, moving down, and then a retest of this support down here. So that's not really great for 1Inch, guys. Unfortunately, the breakdown was validated by this move out of this symmetrical triangle. Failing that, you know, you look at these levels here as support on the way down, guys, and we may get a bounce off that, but usually you do see these symmetrical triangles play out in the level that you target, so it could potentially play down there, but who knows, anything can happen. But as you can see, as we're moving down, we are finding these previous levels of support as support as well on the way down. So that's a level right now that we seem to be targeting and bouncing off there. So we'll probably play around in this area here for a little bit before we may break down again, or Bitcoin decides what to do. If it was to decide what it wanted to do and went up, we may see a push up and then act at these levels that act as support as resistance on the way up. So that would be a level of support, that would be a level of resistance, sorry, that would be a level of resistance. So they're just key areas in your short time frame trading, guys, on 1Inch. And again, if you look there, you can see a level there of potential support on the way down. So you may see us just form one big bear flag and bounce there for a bit before we continue to break down towards that 195, 192 level, guys. Not an exact science, and we may not necessarily get there, but at the moment it does look like it's on the cards. So that's it for today, guys. Please smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. I'll be back today with another video on another project. Cheers, guys. Take care. Bye.